Inclusive teaching, supporting all students in the college classroom. Introduction to multiple means of representation.
A core principle of universal design and of inclusive teaching in general is providing multiple means of representing course content. As we have discussed throughout this course, students will come to your classes with a wide range of educational experiences and cultural and linguistic differences that may influence how they understand and process course content. They may also differ in how they perceive and process information due to sensory disabilities such as visual or hearing impairments, or due to a learning disability. Using multiple means of representing content, such as visual, auditory, and text resources in a course, can help all students learn more efficiently, grasp information more quickly, and make deeper connections between the concepts they are learning about.
In designing a course, faculty members can use different techniques, universal design strategies, to make their course more accessible and welcoming to students and giving them more options for engaging in the class. For example, I teach an online course. It's a master's level course and it happens to be on universal design in higher education. Just a few examples of what I do is I make sure that I break the content into very specific chunks, not have any lessons that are extremely long. Even if I, in some cases, have a part 1 and part 2, I think it's better to have it organized in smaller chunks. And then I make sure that I'm really explicit about what's going to happen in that lesson. And so I provide objectives. What are they expected to know by the end of that particular module or lesson? And then I make sure that everything in that lesson is fully accessible. For instance, I use a lot of videos, but I happen to use the videos in that class, mostly the videos that have been developed by the Do It program, which I direct at the University of Washington, because those videos have been created with captions. They've also been created with audio description as an option. That's a little descriptive element that you can add to a video so that a person who's blind watching the video can actually hear what the description of some of the visual elements of the video. We also use an accessible media player, Able Player. It's actually just one of the only accessible media players, so a student can be totally independent in operating it, and they can get transcripts and so forth. And besides the video, I provide a handout, short publication, and it's not the same as the transcript, because when you're reading something, it's a little different way of accessing the content than when someone is speaking something. And then in the discussion board, I have very clear instructions on a discussion. I never have multiple questions that are asked in one discussion because I think that's real hard for people to follow. If I have 2 questions, then there would be 2 discussions.
Zoom text enabled.
And then sometimes in assignments, I think about whether it's going to be accessible to some students. For instance, one of the assignments in that class is to go out on the internet and find an image of a physical space that seems to be applying universal design, but is not labeled as such. In that case, I say if you're not able to see the images on the screen, then you can just describe a physical environment you've been in and talk about an accessible design feature. And then when they report to the rest of the class about what they found, the ones that use the visuals have to describe them because someone in the class might not be able to see them. And so that makes that particular assignment accessible.
Side-by-side comparison of 2 photos of McCarty Glacier in Alaska.
In class, I will verbally give students instructions, right? So I'll be like, okay, we're going to do this group activity. We're going to break it out into groups, step 1, step 2, step 3. But I also almost always have it displayed on a screen so that, if they forgot, weren't paying attention, missed something I said, it's reinforced on the screen. So there's the verbal and something that they can look at as well. Sometimes that's a handout. And I think, too, about the way that information on my course management system. Not only do I want to make sure that, if a student needs to use a screen reader, that screen reader is going to be able to access it, but that students who aren't present in class, who forgot something, there's always ways that they want that information, not just in the moment in class, but after class, or at any time. So I think there's a real value in repetition, redundancy, just having information available, the same information in different ways. And I consistently hear from students that they really valued the way that they could, it reinforced things for them, or the way that it would just make it easier. So using these different techniques really makes it so that students aren't doing as much work to try to focus on listening to something, or to try to focus on not missing something that's only temporarily being displayed. That there's some permanence, there's some repetition or redundancy, and it really releases some of the mental load that they might be spending trying to focus on everything, and that they can choose the channels that information is coming to them through.